जल्दी जनरेट हो जा। क्या Hi, Uddi. Good evening. So let's start. So the object and the topic today is mundane tasks, creativity, and AI. I just was trying to generate an PPT from an AI app. So is that visible? Great. Jashmeet, I need help. Yeah, Jashmeet. हाँ जी। वो तो किया हुआ है मेरे ख्याल से। एक स्टॉप स्क्रीन करता हूँ फिर मैं फिर स्क्रीन शेयर। चेक नाउ। रन करूँ? ये दिख रहा है? डेस्कटॉप दिख रहा है? डेस्कटॉप। ओके। Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody is doing good. I'm not able to see myself, so not an issue. But then again, it's not started again. Now, this is a very new experience for me. So I am doing a live podcast with a relatively mundane topic because everybody is kind of concerned about artificial intelligence and their own uh, tasks and creativity. So I'll start off with my presentation if it is visible. Just give me a moment. It's visible now. So the topic for today is mundane task, creativity, and artificial intelligence. Now, I am not very personally comfortable with the term artificial intelligence. Mundane tasks and creativity do work. So, mundane tasks are something that you may be doing repetitively and without any direct or immediate rewards. But mundane tasks are very important. Mundane tasks help us build everything. A bricklayer lays a brick by brick to create a building. The person who is mixing the mortar, it's a mundane task. But once the person who has the building in mind has the creativity to visualize it. That is why the mundane task has helped us to build something that is great. Humans are creative by default. Creativity is something that is imbibed and ingrained into human genes. Otherwise, humans would have not have been human. We wouldn't have been Homo sapiens. The point being, if you do not create, you wouldn't have walked upright. If you hadn't walked upright, you wouldn't have been here as you see yourself. Um, I would like to say that creativity is something that is built by default into every human being. Mundane is very ordinary and not at all interesting and blah 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 and unusual, no adventure. But mundane tasks are a dull proposition. You're typing out. Your boss says there's a report that needs to go and other stuff. But then again, you have to do it. But you do if you do not do anything repetitive or something, uh, a mundane thing, but it will not then again get into a creative mode. See, give you an example. A painter has to make strokes. Making the stroke is a very mundane task, but it creates something called beautiful painting. So let me come back to the mundanity of things. Making this presentation is mundane, but then again, putting thought into creating this PPT is creative. I have a site which can auto generate a presentation. You put in the topic. there is not a single site, but it's multiple sites. So there is where an artificial intelligence tool comes in to create something that is repetitive, a car mundane. But then again, you have to tweak the auto-generated presentation. That is where your creativity. Creativity comes from your individual thought. That is very important. No single human thinks like. It's a fundamental perception. It's a fundamental, not perception exactly, but it's a fundamental thing that always happens. You have the capability beyond your I, the individuality, to think different from other people. So that is why when something is being auto generated, you have to put in your creative inputs, creative inputs in terms of thought. That is why the creativity part comes. Mundane is a very good thing. Mundane task can be repetitive, any repetitive task can be done by everybody. This is the basis of all activity, functions and behavior of earth entities. Earth entity थोड़ा भारी हो गया, but earth entity is something that we can think of as live entities that live on planet Earth. We are bounded by planet Earth. Earthworm is there, it's digging up Earth. There's a dung beetle who takes care of the dung. We are humans. The humans are the apex species. That is the most important thing, that we understand that we are the apex species. And all activity, functions, and behavior of Earth entities are understood very well by us. Time defines us. Without time, we wouldn't have been here. But time is universal, it moves forward only. And life itself is defined by time. We evolve. We evolve from maybe a single cellular point to what we are today. Maybe we will evolve into something different in the future. But as on date, where we stand, we stand. And the most important part is we have very finite time allotted to us. Every living being has its own average lifetime. A human lives maybe 70 to 100 years max. A tortoise lives from maybe 70 to 150 years or 200 years. But there's something called fruit fly that has a lifetime of 24 hours. Now, time defines how you do it, how we do, how we act, how we move forward. Mundane. So, mundane is something that is very difficult to understand. Mundane is basically something that is uninteresting, that is repetitive, and you have to do it to ensure that you live well, you perform well, you are very creative, but then again, there is a task at hand, जूता पॉलिश करना है, कपड़ा धोना है, और you need to peel peas, file a report, take a test, make your bed, and etc. But if you don't do it, peel peas, no matter money, and peeling peas technically is a test of honesty. मटर छीलते हुए आपने नहीं खाया तो यू आर ए वेरी ऑनेस्ट पर्सन. मैं तो खा लेता हूँ. File a report, dot dot and titles. God knows. If you are working, a report has been asked from you, you don't do it, leave a bar. Take a test. That depends. Academics, Geo, fail किया तो. If health, it may be Geo, but it may also be Geo. Make my bed. Hmm. You always can read. Depends. Married, you need to make your bed. Unmarried, चल जाता है. कोई टेंशन नहीं. Except, बहुत सारा चीज है. Why Monday to creative to AI? Caveman, you can see. Mastodon is elephant, bronze and stone age. See, we have evolved over time. Correct? We were in a single server sometime. Then we became fish and other stuff. And then we became amphibians. Then we became reptiles. From reptiles, we became mammals. From mammals, we became human beings. So, from a human being, the basic human being, what is observed is a caveman. There are multiple definitions of a caveman. The caveman had the need, the mastodon, I need food, so I need to kill something big and feed my family and clan and everything. But then we discovered metals. The first metals that we discovered was bronze because we could smelt. Actually, before bronze, there were some other metals, but bronze and stone age are something that are continuous. Stone age came before. I should have written stone and bronze age. Correct. Stone, we could find some stones that could be created as tools. Bronze, same thing. So, stone age created tools, and bronze age created shinier tools with metals, which could be reworked. Stone tools could not be reworked. So, bronze and stone age tools and shiny. Iron age. Oh, I got tools, but they last longer because iron was more durable. Middle age. Alchemy. I again need a stone, which will turn iron into gold. That is something that happened. That's human thought. That happened that I need a stone. Paraspatar. It's I forget its name, but it's something that was to turn iron into gold. That is human expectation. Neo age. I got tech. Anyhow. I'm sleepy. I can do everything and anything that I want. Bad idea. You cannot. Because everything is defined by mundane. Mundane always tends to be repetitive. Sharpen your knife and sword, clean your gun, type the report, and mail it to, and check spelling mistake. Get groceries, eat, drink. Now, this is something that is somewhat what it is. Sharpen your knives and sword, clean your gun, type the report. There's something that is mundane. Mundane being this you have to do every day. In today's context, sharpen your knives and sword is that you need to do your task perfectly. Clean your gun, your communication, type the report, whatever you have done in the day. Get groceries to घर पे आता है, eat, drink, and get married. Sorry, getting married is highly creative. It is something I believe in. Hmm, ठीक है, human effort. तो थोड़ा छोटे में लिख दिया एस पर सी इवॉल्विंग टाइम changes you. Evolution is a part of time, or time is a part of evolution. Better still, time defines evolution. evolution and surviving. I have not written the book Surviving, is about adapting, creating, and repeating. That repeating is where the mundane task comes in. I want to hunt. I want to cut my vegetables. Cutting vegetables itself is a mundane task. Sharpening the knife to cut the vegetable is a mundane task. But when I'm eating and creating some excellent dish, that is creativity. There is where the next comes in. I get a machine. Just rub your knife and it sharpens your knife. You put it in, it's just nothing but a simple press down you have and it cuts your vegetable. Automated communicating. Automated communicating in the sense, 5 years back, I used to get human calls. सर आपको लोन चाहिए सर आप यू आर एलिजिबल फॉर एक्स वाई जेड lakh loan. Today, a bot calls you. They've got the data, they have automated things, and the data, based on the data, based on my profile, they'll call you. They'll call me. And that applies to you too. That is what automated communicating is. Because some things which are to be communicated are repetitive. Anything repetitive can be automated. Automated task executing. Bahi Khata was written 5,500 years back also. Then came something called a spreadsheet. First spreadsheet, I'm a very old person, so the first spreadsheet which I saw was Lotus 123. It was a simple DOS based spreadsheet. Then came Excel. Then it went ahead. Columns and rows. We work today on columns and rows only. That creates a database also. So, more or less, everything that the Bahi Khata, I think the person was called an accountant or a Muni, they used to write in rows and columns only. Now, that rows and columns went into a set of electronic format 010101, whatever. And then now that too advanced became a database management system. So that's something that is different, that is not very relevant. Then again, any repetitive thing will be repetitive. So now I would like to return back. Mundane tasks build up repeated activity. आज भी वही रिपोर्ट डाला, कल भी वही रिपोर्ट डालना है, एंड देन कल भी वही 6 कॉल करना था, आज भी वही 6 कॉल किया है. So that is where the mundanity comes in. It actually may help your survival in the current situation, but then again, it may not help your creativity. Creativity kicks in where I'm making a call. I will call somebody, and instead of saying maybe, सर मेरे को आपको आपसे ये काम था, सर आपको क्या चाहिए, मेरे पास ये है. Just tweaking how you present yourself. That's very important. Creativity can come in from the point when you can rethink. रोज वही काम कर रहा हूँ, बट लेट मी सी उसी काम को फिर कैसे अलग से करना. आई एम गोइंग टू हिंदी, बट then again, if I feel that I can add something to the task at hand, which is a mundane task, it may give me something extra. That is where your creativity will come in. Today I'll do something exceptional. Toady. Toady is a very bad word. I shouldn't have used it. Toady will do something exceptional today. I am Toady, like a toad. हर सवेरे सोचता हूँ आज मेरे को कैसे मैं पगार अपना हाउ डू आई मैनेज माई डेज emoluments or days payout. The problem is how do I will get the same pay, but then how do I do something that actually helps me to grow, do something exceptional. See, there may be a set of 100 kids or 150 kids doing the same task, but when the pyramid opens up, there will be a set of 7 to 10 entities or people who go up. Why are the rest left behind? It's a very important question because these people have some innate qualities that's different, but they have also put in something extra or they have been creative. There comes in the need to understand this is something of a loop. I want to create something more complicated and थोड़ा simple दिख रहा है. So you have AI, you have creativity, you have task or work, but in the center sits the output part. The output is something that feeds us. I have iron ore, I have coal, I have some fire, I build it, I mix it and do something, so I get iron. Simple. I'm from a steel city, so I'm giving the iron ore example. So if I do not do the task of mixing the iron ore, lime and coal and everything, heating it up, creating iron, I will get iron. So from that iron, when I've derived the iron from my task work, the next level would be creativity. Creativity comes in when that based iron is made into steel. Steel and iron are different things. Iron is basically a singular metal, but steel is something that there are multiple things involved. Now, in steel, I'll give you the creativity. Now, we have got stainless steel. It's chromium and niobium, and it's shiny. It doesn't rust. But there is also steel which creates sword blades. There is steel that creates gun barrel, and there is steel also that creates stents. Stents that are put into people's hearts, people's liver, so that the ducts are good. Steel that are implanted into joints, hip, your knee, everything. So a simple thing converted into steel, again creatively used, can become a entity that helps humans survive. The whole thing, whatever we are talking about, is helping the human being to be the best. They are the best, but in spite of that, becoming better is more important. Now, in this place, where does artificial intelligence come in? AI is basically a tool. You would have seen ChatGPT. The ChatGPT is not something that has come out of the world or has been something. Artificial intelligence is nothing but a set of very intelligent people sitting down, devising a computer program that's basically a set of algorithms to derive intelligence out of the mundane and repetitive tasks that people do. The object being that human beings can do away with the repetitive tasks. So, if you have been doing an accountant or something, there's an app, there might be some mechanism or some software program which can derive all the transactions. If you are business entity, it can derive all the transactions. It can see this is your basic GST or your taxation. This is your basic uh, cost price. This is your basic sales price, which the person needs to do manually. It simply derives the same and gives you the requisite result. But beyond the result, that result, intelligence can compare with other entities if the data is available who are doing similar tasks and give you an input as to how you can better your intelligence, your task, your motive of surviving, your motive of being there, and everything, as you can see, is the output. Output points back to us. We have created the tasking system. We have created the artificial intelligence. Creativity is something that has created everything, but the output points back again to us. It's a loop. If you think of it, it's more or less a pretty interesting scenario. You work, you have a task at hand. That task points to something you want. It being a repetitive task, you want to better it. How do you better it? You push in creativity. When you push in creativity, you need another tool. That tool started with computing. Computing evolved to become artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence does nothing but compile and take intelligent decision based on the past amount of mundane tasking that has happened. So, in this scenario, maybe as an early talent or maybe uh, just a person who has entered the industry, how would you like to offer it? That's the most important part. See, I have almost 27, 28 years with varied industries. What I can understand is that a repetitive task will not give you a career option anymore. You have to get creative. And with your creativity, you can help, get help from artificial intelligence. Everything points to us. There is no other entity that is benefiting from this ecosystem. But evolution is very, very unforgiving. Forgiving in the sense, even in human beings, it's competition. A person who may be better prepared than you will have an edge if you do not prepare well. That is where the tasking and creativity comes in. AI is open for everybody. Again, when you are less prepared, you may not be able to use the AI tools as good as the other person. AI is period a tool. It's nothing more than that. And AI basically mimics your past activity. It doesn't affect your creativity. If you can use AI intelligently, it can help you grow exponentially. I'll give you an example. Say maybe a person sitting, I being from a technical background, so I'll give you a simple example. A person may be sitting in a software company, a software product company needs to write a code to do a specific task. Again, we are coming back to the task part. Now, that code would have been written by five more people. Similar code, not exactly the same code, but the similar code may have been written by five more people previously in the last 7 to 8 years. Now, this code is repetitive. You can compare it to the mundane task. Five people did it at five different points of time, the same thing they want to execute. Now, what AI will do is it reads because it has data, access to data, not data, access to data. It reads the set of algorithms which uh, it can execute. You just put in one single line of command that I want this. The AI creates the code for you. Then you tweak it. As I said in my previous slide, I wanted to create the slide. The slide can be auto-generated. The auto-generated slide comes to you, but it's not exactly up to the mark which you want. Human need changes with time. So the need which the software programmer was addressing had some different parameters when the other code was generated. So the AI, when it picks up that code, the software person, by the what you can say, by the virtue of evolution, has to tweak it. That is where the creativity of the software guy comes in. As long as we are alive, creativity will play the most important task. Mundane tasks have to be done. You have to bath in the morning, you have to uh, soap in the morning, you have to shampoo in the morning, you have to wear your clothes. These are mundane, you don't think about it. But the creativity kicks in. आज कौन से कलर का शर्ट पहनना है, कौन से कलर का ट्राउजर पहनना है, जूता कौन सा पहनना है. I try to match to what my expectations may be. But then again, in that system, if you have a tool that says, "Ki boss, आज you wear this जूता जापानी and लाल टोपी रूसी," it creates a helping hand. Tools are simple. I'll give you an example of a microwave. Uh, Microwaves were never meant to be domestic tools. One guy who was walking along a microwave setup in the 50s had a chocolate bar in his pocket and he walked by it and the chocolate bar melted. He got an idea that this can be used for cooking. Microwave does nothing but excite the water molecules in everything that your food has. That guy created the world's first microwave machine. That is where the creativity thing kicks in. Human, uh, Humans are always in the lookout for newer challenges, betterment of life, and ease of life. AI is a tool. AI does cannot think for itself. Be very specific on it. AI, as on date, cannot reach sentience. If AI reaches sentience, we would have created another species which is not organic. There might be a set of people who are trying for this, but I feel that it is not possible as of now because uh, the human brain, as I'm speaking, you are listening, everybody is there, does about 100 million petaflops per second. My brain, analog computer, using less than 20 watts of power. That is what nature and the universe has given us, and we are trying to recreate that. It will take time. But the day artificial intelligence reaches sentience, it will be a day where humans have become God. It can't happen because humans are the people who create, who have created artificial intelligence, which is basically nothing but data crunching and predictive behavior, predictive, uh, predicting behavior. So it is basically fun thinking about it. Be creative, use artificial intelligence, and keep an eye out how it develops. Australia has developed a supercomputer that is called Deep South. It does 235 petaflops a second, which is equivalent of the almost equivalent of the human brain. But it can't think. It cannot have intelligence. Intelligence is something that helps you create, which is intent creativity. AI cannot help you create. So if I put in, say, you ask the most celebrated AI interface that we have is ChatGPT. So you ask ChatGPT, write a poem for me, 6 lines or 8 lines or something. ChatGPT will immediately do it. But what it does is it has got a huge database. It says that it's updated up to December 2022 or something. But what it does, this is my personal understanding, is that it has got a huge computing power and very sharp algorithms to understand human need and creates by mixing and matching a set of data in terms of poems. AI cannot create a Mona Lisa. AI cannot create something Michelangelo did. AI cannot create what Munshi Premchand wrote. This is the problem. Do not be afraid. Use AI as a tool. It's very important. So let us move on. AI at all. It may be loop again. It must. It is must to do mundane tasks. Without that, that mundane tasks do help. It is the foundation when which makes humanity possible. आज आपके घर में गैस नहीं जला गैस the gas guy doesn't deliver it, the gas cylinder or something. It's a mundane task. There's not much scope of creativity, except maybe juggling with the gas cylinder. It's a task that has to be done. Without that gas cylinder, you may not be able to create great dishes. A house is built with bricks and mortar. The bricklayer, the mason, they have to do a repetitive task. But your vision of how the house is actually created by the bricklayer, the mason, who is basically executing very mundane tasks. Creativity is something we can get bored, but we may sing as we go along creating the home. Facades, interiors, and other details. But AI will help you repeat. You think that this wall or this facade is something that is the face of your house should be like this. Then you feel, okay, I imagine this with my creativity. AI says that just change it. So you get a suggestion, and maybe you will use that suggestion to change the house, or the facade, or the layout, or the tiles, or your furniture. As I said, AI is nothing but algorithms and data inputs to function and help people to make decisions. We are the people. The algorithms are based on your and mine data, activity, mapped on electronic basis. But this is powered by a set of humans who are smart enough to understand if I'm able to capture the data, I can build something that is sellable. To ease. Executing mundane and repetitive tasks cannot be a future employment. Yes, boss. टाइपिंग से नौकरी नहीं चलेगी. गवर्नमेंट में टाइपिस्ट का जॉब बंद हो गया. टुडे I can take the example of Google. You speak, it transforms it into word. Technically, if you can train the voice engine good enough, you personally don't need to type. What does this lead to? It means service support, customer support, these kind of things are slowly becoming redundant. I'm sorry, not slowly, very quickly becoming irrelevant. If I am an entrepreneur or a businessman, my major cost in a service industry is my salary. If I can replace that with something automated, I will never employ people. So if I do not employ people, what will the people do? The people have to get creative. They have to create something to get that amount of money in on a routine basis. It may be salary, entrepreneur, or whatever. You need to have some very specific set of incoming without being dependent. A fun fact is that I am from a sales background. I thought sales cannot be automated, but I'm wrong in that part because I am seeing that in my sales lifetime, 20 years back, there was a kind of push for the automation of sales, not in the electronic sense, but in a sense where uh, you enticed the last point to be more interested in pushing your specific person. It was basically like giving him or her a higher margin in the sense of a commercial margin to push that specific product which you or your company, your mother entity has created or manufactured. That thought process will always work. We live in a commercial world. In a commercial world, profits are of paramount importance because profits are everything that drive. And if something or some tool can reduce the outgoing cost in terms of a repetitive task or mundane task, the business entity will always implement. AI will not take over, but your lack of creativity will always ensure that you do not have the opportunity to grow or make it better. What we do is basically, or acidically also, is we live in a world which is nothing but interhuman interactions. If it is interhuman interactions, it will always be competition. If it is competition, there will be margins in terms of business. And if there is margins, there will be measures to maximize. AI is a tool which may help or tries to help in maximizing margin by reducing human costs. Not even human cost, repetitive tasks. So if you are creative enough, it will always ensure that you have a stable and long term place, effect, and direction where it can grow. So with AI, it is something I wrote. AI notes your activity. AI is a very big term. AI notes your activity. You type something, it's recorded. आप किसी को गाली देते हो, that is recorded. Even implementation of uh, previous psychological things make your profile visible to AI. Now, I'll tell you something. It's interesting. It just popped up now. It was not there in my script. So, it's something for the credit viability. Maybe if you are a young professional, you may not be into it, but maybe a senior person or your parents or someone would have taken a loan. Now, there is something called a loan eligibility, especially with unsecured loans or maybe like a vehicle loan or something. There, the people who are going to give you the finances, they take cognizance of your credit activity. All your credit activity is noted down in a central database. That is something called as Experian or Sibyl or something score. You are matched against that. Similarly, AI notes your activity also. So, activity will define your future. It's very important to and understand. At the end of the day, your credibility scores, that is Sibyl or whatever, marks your prospects or your economical prospects or your economical viability in terms of the rest of the world, etc. Now you never know if AI may go in somewhere for an arranged marriage or even for a marriage. Arranged marriage is something that is Indian, and the bride or the groom to be can get a AI based profile of yourself, your places that you would. My mobile, it's Android mobile, it tracks every point of time where I go. So that is data that is being fed into a system, a central database, whatever is there. So they are able to track all my activity, what my calls are, what my messages are, what's my WhatsApp. They say WhatsApp is maybe WhatsApp itself doesn't understand, know what is being talked about. It's very important that we be very careful, plan ourselves, how to move forward. How do you think that when I open a Google map and it says that there is congestion on this road, it's basically nothing but user data. There would be 500 people using the same map, or maybe not even using the Google map, but using Google Android phone. Google says, Google senses, it's basically AI, wherein it determines this are making up, but this may be true. That this guy is not moving fast. It judges there are 500 guys here, 450 are not moving fast enough. It puts in a red band. It has got its own. It says that these guys are moving, but they're not moving that fast. So it becomes yellow. Guys are moving very fast, it becomes blue. Simple example of Google Maps. You need to understand how you move on, how you act. In the future, I'm not talking about, I'm not saying about doomsday or something, but in the future, your interaction of the with the other human being, because we are uh, human beings are social animals, and as I said, interhuman transaction is defines what we are, how we act, what we do, how we plan to do. But data will come in. They will track. They will track everything. But believe me, as long as you are creative, nothing can change this. Because data is something that you have already done. Being creative is in the future. I will do this. Nobody can predict what you want to do. I want to paint. आज मैं ये गाना बजाऊंगा. Data cannot predict that. So don't be uh, apprehensive what AI can do. AI can do nothing. AI will follow you like a dog. So to close, my four things. Spelling गलत था. Be creative, think unalike. Be creative. To be creative, you may think unalike. Thinking unlike is like सब बोल रहे हैं कि भाई मूवी जाएंगे. आई से कि चल भैया आज किसी that money we spend buy some treats for some orphans, go to that orphanage. Think unalike. A very simple example. Be disruptive. Creativity may be created by disruption to some extent. Or creativity may have a disruptive effect or a disruptive component and create great. Great का spelling बहुत गंदा हो गया यार. GRAT. You may create great also. No problem. Oh, खत्म. So any questions from my part? Any questions if you have of this mundane session? So I'll call it a day then. Thank you very much.